Hello, people. Hello. This is the Drunkduck Quackcast, and I am Ozone Ocean, and with me is Baines and Tance.
Hello.
Hello.
And today we're talking about special forces, ultra specialists, the specialist of the specials.
Let the midnight special forces shine.
Shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a ever-loving light on me. What the rest of the lyrics, Baines?
Just repeat, and
repeat forever, ad nauseum.
I
don't even know if it has verses. Maybe it does.
Oh, it's a very complicated song thematically. That was our little theme song. Baines and Tance, how are you guys today? You special?
Feel special.
I don't know. When I hear special, I think of Spaceballs. Like, he ordered the special.
I'm very special. I go in the special bus to school every day. No, that's terrible. We'll not go down that road, no, because that leads to all kinds of things.
You mean that you're afraid we're going to go off on a tangent? We never do that.
A tangent? No, I thought I was going to be offensive about people who are differently abled. That's...
Oh.
And I don't want to be that. So I won't.
Oh, my mind didn't even go there. Like, my mind to, like, I'm special and everyone else is special, and when everyone is special, no one is.
Yeah, there's that. That's a factor. We're all super special. Okay, so we're going to be talking about specialists, but before we do that, we have to get into the features comic. So Quackcast is going to tell us about a little comic called "Everything Will Be Fine at Dawn." So, Quack, just tell us about that.
Hello, this is Quackcast, and the feature I've selected for this week is Everything Will Be Fine at Dawn by Jordan B. Koenig, and it is rated T14. Enter into a magical world where winged fairies and human folk live side by side. A mother and daughter discover an injured blue fairy resting on a leaf while gathering water from a nearby well. The mother agrees to resuscitate the fairy by bandaging its leg and giving it a safe place to heal while in recovery. Heed the mother's advice and do not worry. Try to get some more sleep. She will be right back. The art uses traditional stippling, hatching, and cross-hatching shading techniques. The text bubbles use an original hand-lettered font. Stay up all night with an extensive list of fairy questions and read Everything Will Be Fine at Dawn by Jordan B. Koenig, rated T.
That was Quackcast with Everything Will Be Fine at Dawn. Alright, so now some music from Gumwallace. No tune this week because Gumwallace didn't give us one, so we did a best of Gumwallace, and this week we're replaying the tune to Joe Pop. Now this was a funny one that Baines and I participated in to do the little vocal comedy stylings that Gumwallace wrote for us. So Joe Pop is a fantastic little comic by Dave63, and it's still going, so you can click in the links and have a look at that. But in the meantime, enjoy this little tune for Joe Pop.
This is sounding good, Joe.
Well, it's okay. I think we need drums.
Let's get a drummer then.
Session musicians cost too much.
Use a drum machine.
No, I prefer natural sounds.
Okay then, I'll whack my bass against your piano.
What are you doing? That's bad for the instruments.
I don't know. It seems to tune my bass.
what this piece really needs is some strings.
What, like balls of yarn?
No, an orchestra. Something classy and cinematic.
If we can't afford a drummer, we can't afford an orchestra, man.
True. But hey, I played the cello when I was a kid. Maybe I could do some overdubs. Do you play anything else, Bob?
I played triangle in my high school band.
That's pretty lame, Bob.
Hey man, it's a tricky instrument. Too tricky. That's why I switched to bass.
Bring it on home, Bob.
What?
Bring it on home, brother.
What does that mean?
Bob, how long have you been a musician, Bob?
12 years, man.
It means we finished the song, Bob.
Oh, right.
Bob, you don't just stop playing like that, Bob.
But you said to, man.
Bob, I said let's finish, Bob. Like a cool ending. But together, Bob.
Oh, right.
Sometimes I remember why I like you, Bob.
Thanks, man. Let's go get something to eat.
Are you paying?
No, are you?
Nope.
We could go to the supermarket and try free samples.
Again? We really need to make some bread, Bob.
I could eat some bread.
That was our little bit of music from Gum Wallace. Okay. Oh my god. One day I'll have to write lyrics to a Gum Wallace tune. I'll have to do
Yeah.
that.
That would be fun.
Yeah, and Tance can sing it. Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tance, you talk yourself down. You actually have a good singing voice. You actually do.
You're a very kind person, but I actually objectively do not. I was one of the few students in my school that was thrown out of the choir. So I
Just have to sort of just think in the right way, but a bit of drink, and a bit of thinking in the correct way, and you can do it. I tell you.
probably.
I tell you what. So this week we're talking about special forces mainly, because that was the germ of the idea. It's a little seed of the thing. It's like in every time there's like they introduce like a lieutenant in the police force or something like that, or like a criminal they're chasing, and they go, "This person was ex-special forces." Served 5 years in Delta Force, 8 years as SAS, 9 years as a Green Beret, paratrooper, commando, and Navy SEAL.
We have run out of years, even if he was in the womb.
True.
But yeah, they're always a special force of a special force of a special force. That is the trope. And the idea was it used to make, oh my god, they're super duper excellent, amazing Batmans kind of thing. But these days it doesn't make them sound special. It makes them sound silly because it's a cliche. So it's no longer as interesting. Ex-special forces is just bullshit.
Yeah. I would even argue that nowadays it's cooler when the surprise background is a lot more down to earth, like even from real life, in the sense that the guy was an ex-boxer, and he just punched and KO'd the mugger in the deli store.
Yeah, I was even thinking like this person's a security guard. They said, oh, is he ex-special forces before he... No, he's just a security guard. He's just really, really damn good at being a security guard. That would be cool. Because normally the security guards and things are always like, oh, mall cop. oh, useless. Oh, he's just a paid person, paid by the hour, dressed up in his gear. He's useless. But why couldn't a security guard be extra special, really good with the guns and like taking people down and that kind of stuff? Doesn't have to be a special forces. Could just be really good at that. That would be cool.
Yeah, sure. I mean, exactly.
Or a policeman,
And also,
policewoman, whatever, who knows what to do.
yeah, and I would like to see a policeman that knows what to do within police protocols, because most of the cool policemen, if you look at what they do in series, in movies and stuff, they way overstep the limits of the law. Like they crack the case, but guess what? The perp is going to walk because you have turned everything into fruit of the poison tree, and no lawyer is going to be able to, no prosecutor is going to be able to actually try this case with your evidence, because now it has not been appropriated in the proper way. Congrats,
Right.
Yeah, they handle it in a fantastical way. Shoot them all and let God sort them out.
Yeah.
I love that. This is a little side trip, but that scene in the movie Seven, where Brad Pitt kicks in the door, which is illegal procedure. Like I don't remember how they found the suspected killer's apartment, but it was not through normal means or something like that. So he kicks in the door or I guess he just kicks it in with no warrant, and that's a problem. And then you have a scene where they're paying a prostitute, and then they call the cops, and the prostitute tells them this prearranged story about she saw some suspicious activity, and she called. Very rare that they would show a scene like that, but also very fun.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I mean, which is again, probable cause. I established probable cause, and I do whatever I want. That sort of thing.
Wouldn't it be funny if you had a thing where someone goes, yeah, this police guy, he's ex-special forces. Oh, that's funny. I'm ex-special forces as well. Meet Karen, she's making the coffee. She's ex-special forces as well. the police superintendent, yeah, he's special forces. It turns out everyone's special forces apart from this new guy who joins and goes, oh, God, I don't know any of you people. I've had no idea. And he turns out to be the best person,
Yeah. That'd be great. That sounds like a sitcom. And I would watch that.
Oh man, that sounds fun.
And the whole thing could be making a point of like being special forces doesn't actually make you a good person at anything really, except those special things you trained in, And if you don't keep up with that training, you lose those skills. So having all that special forces stuff is pretty well nonsense unless you're still within your unit doing your dangerous training every bloody week over and over and over, because you lose, not only will you lose the skills, your speed, your fitness, all that kind of stuff, you just won't retain it. So being in special forces only matters when you actually are special forces, not when you're ex-special forces. You'll remember some of it, sure, but
yeah, I would say that the baseline of someone that has become proficient in something, even if they become rusty at it, they still are like a couple of standard deviations above the average person in that area. I can totally see that. So
yeah, sure, but say an ex-special forces guy is not going to be as maybe he retired like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Someone who's currently serving just as a normal soldier in the army is probably going to be, more fit and better than that person at like hand-to-hand combat and, I don't know, weapons training and all this kind of stuff. Because they're training all the time.
Or on the flip side, he might be, like, I don't know if that is an expression in English, but in Greek we call them burnt out in terms of body, in the sense that they have their body has so many micro injuries and actual injuries, like athletes that get multiple injuries
Yeah.
until they cannot perform as much. And I actually knew a person like that was uh, like um, um, like he was not dismissed because it was honorary, but he left special forces because he had such serious lasting injuries in his knees that he was not able to perform as he used to. So
Yeah.
he was basically unable to keep up with everybody else, and so he became ex-special forces.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
So
happens. Oh, sorry, Bones.
No, go ahead.
So in that kind of work, it eats you up. It uses you up, and then those people become like drunks and like they live. They're in pain all the time, and they often abuse substances and this kind of stuff in order to self-medicate and to cope with that life, because it uses them up. It's a very hard life to be in that. So yeah, being ex-special forces is actually something that's detrimental. It's not something that's going to make someone better.
yeah.
So yeah, he's ex-special forces. That's why he's drunk all the time.
Well, with the dark side and that kind of lifestyle, it's pretty common in fiction for these characters, for sure.
Yeah. And there's another thing that, like, why would a person like that be dependent on self-medication or whatever? Because usually these people do not have adequate support from the state after they are not useful anymore, let's put it that way. So they don't receive any kind of mental or physical support that they need in order to not become, uh, you know, tangled up in this post post special forces condition. And I don't mean that everybody goes through that, but a lot of people do, and even those that don't, they do have little black boxes in their mind and hearts that they never touch for that reason. So.
Yeah, I mean, like we say, it does use them up. Often they're in pain all the time from different injuries because the training they participate in is often incredibly hard. The things they do, rappelling from helicopters in the middle of the night, and climbing mountains and all this kind of stuff, and parachuting and parachuting out of helicopters into the ocean and then swimming for land. There's ridiculous things that they have to do, and more of them get killed in training than actually serving. This is like a universal thing all over the world. This happens, and if they don't get killed, they get injuries that they have for life. So yeah, it's not an enviable thing. We make it sound cool in fiction, in media, but in reality, it's not good.
No.
Being special forces is something you don't go, oh my god, wow. It's more like, oh, I'm sorry, that must have been very hard for you.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say
If
that.
you're okay.
But
like,
it's just, that's it. I would say that's impressive. I would tell them that.
yeah, but you wouldn't go, oh my god, wow. It's more like, are you okay?
But yeah, I mean, generally, it's a very taxing thing to be in the army in any rank or branch of the army, and it is something that people don't take seriously. When I say people, I mean like a governance doesn't take seriously that these are people that you are basically using as fodder, and you are using people. either en masse or in small special units or what have you, and they go out and do your bidding and stuff, and then you don't really have any aftercare for these people in any way. And that's why I say that whoever serves in the army is basically doing one of those jobs that are, I don't know how they are called in English, the heavy duty jobs, the ones that should get extra benefits and extra support and stuff.
Well, say on that subject, so the first Rambo film, Rambo First Blood, I think it was that the name of it, or was it just Rambo?
Just First Blood.
Yeah, First Blood. So in that film, he's ex-special forces, and like Bane says, he's a Green Beret. And so he has that kind of cachet to them. And, these policemen are going after him for some whatever dumb reason. He's killing them all because he's ex-special forces. Mm-hmm. He's a weapon. But that's not the point of the film. The point of the film was to show that the war that he was in damaged him. And he didn't get that care when he came back. And he became a vagrant on the street because he didn't get any care or any help at all. And I suppose the reason why he's killing everybody and all this kind of stuff is because he's got obviously mental issues. He can't adapt to society in a real way, normal peacetime society. But the idea was like they trained him up to be a weapon, and then he's basically an unsheathed knife, an unholstered gun. He's just shooting everywhere because he's been let loose. But the whole thing about the film or the book was that he's a veteran and he's not getting the care that he needs after the experience that he was put through. So, sorry, Thomas, what were you going to say?
I want to say that Rambo is like this first movie, Rambo. I never remember the actual title. Is one of the few movies that we are actually assigned when studying psychology, because it has one of the best depictions of PTSD. One type, not all types. Like one type of PTSD ever put on film, and we are shown that. It's one of the titles that they actually show us.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Because he does have that PTSD. I mean, they do like exaggerate it into like he's a killing machine and he's unstoppable. But and in the second and third and whatever other films there, I don't even know. It does sort of turn him into a super soldier, which is
we
oh well.
Yeah, the rest of the films we are told that like. We don't talk about that.
Very different.
This first one is really, really good in the sense that it shows exactly how this person is basically reacting to everyone because he is still in the throes. It's not even chronic pit. It is. He is in an acutely dangerous situation for himself and others, and nobody cares. And that gets us two discussions in uni. One is the actual mental illness, and the second one is the complete lack of support and care and concern about people that are going through this in the army. So there you go.
So that's what we should have in all our ex-special forces, in all the TV shows and movies and comics. They should be psychologically damaged. Well, not all the time, but it's a big factor, and it's not addressed.
But I mean, not necessarily. Like not everyone will develop PTSD or what have you, depression or any other condition, but a lot of will. So consider it. And consider like it's all in a gradient. But people do not go into war and come out of it the same, one way or the other.
So I was just going to say, So my own experience with the special forces is I have nothing because I'm not a special forces guy, but I have the SASR, which is the Australian Special Air Service Regiment. That's what we call them. So they're our main special forces, and the base is just like a couple of kilometers down the road. And you know, sometimes on a quiet morning, you'll hear them training down there, and oh my god, the sounds of the machine guns and the mortars and whatever else they're using are freaking scary. But I was one time back when I was in uni years ago, or art school, or whatever it was. Yeah, like a couple of soldiers came to my studio because one of the students there was going to do the painting of them and their last mission that they'd had in, I think it was East Timor. So they came in to pose and just give the guy a better idea of, you know, what they're going to look like in the painting. And they were in full combat gear, all their webbing on and straps and bags and face paint, and they had guns too. They just walked into the studio carrying their weapons, which in Australia people don't carry guns openly ever. So this was very, very bizarre to see, like full on like assault rifle and a machine gun, Minimi paratrooper lightened version of a machine gun. This thing's huge, and the guy just. I said, "Oh my god, wow, that is this, that?" And the guy said, "Yep," and he just handed it to me. I was in the studio. So that was a very bizarre thing. But so these guys were not only special forces, they were serving special forces. And they were not gung-ho. They weren't like, I'll do karate on your face in 5 seconds and you're dead. They were just like obviously normal ordinary people, despite all the clothes and the weapons and stuff like that. So,
I have noticed in my experience, and I think I said that in the video cast as well, that people that are actually experts in things like that are very quiet about. They do not get in your face with it, and they do not, get flamboyant with it or anything. The people that strap on all the guns and they go to order a hamburger with half the ammo, required for a platoon. They are not the ones that are experts. They are the ones that are dangerous. So yeah, and I there was this period of time in my life where I used to have a black belt in Taekwondo, and when you become a black
back
belt,
when you were in the special forces.
no, like a black belt is nothing special in the sense that it only says that you have graduated basic training. Let's put it that way. So there's nothing amazing. Like he's a black belt. She's a black. Yeah, okay. That means that you know, 8 pumse or kata or whatever, pick your martial art. But you get instantly promoted into being a junior teacher. And so you get to teach the lower belts different stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the way things work. And what I noticed was that the ones that were good, and the ones that were higher than the black belt, 3 dan, 4 dan. We never had like 8 dan. Our sense, master was 7 dan. He was a misogynist, but apart from that, he was very, very measured in everything he did and said. Whereas I'm trying not to curse on the radio. The tweets. the twins that had just gotten their black belt were all going like, I'm gonna teach you, these weird flying kicks and stuff that they never did well enough anyway. And they were like super flamboyant at the yellow belts. That yellow belt is like the first color belt you get, and so they were like impressing the kids basically. So
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
So it's the old Dunning-Kruger effect
that
sort of
seems
thing,
to
isn't it?
be true.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So
Or it's just like someone who's truly confident and truly capable is probably
exactly,
going to be more mature, more composed. They're not
exactly,
looking for a fight. They're not looking to show off.
Because
and
they're a deadly weapon. So they can't fight, because they'll kill you.
you know what? They were usually quiet and careful because the first thing that you realize as a black belt, if you're not an idiot, is that you really know the basics and it's very easy to get hurt in anything. That's all you know. You know that you
Yeah,
don't know. That's all you know. So,
right.
so there were two categories of black belts. Yeah.
Yeah.
What, so were you the Steven Seagal type, or the Chuck
No,
Norris type?
I was the quiet type. I was the quiet type, and
You
I
heard it
was.
first, guys. Tance was the Chuck Norris type.
Oh my God! I think Chuck Norris has a bad reputation nowadays, doesn't he? uh, I don't know. I mean, I was good in the sense that I was good in forms and stuff like that, but I never had, thankfully, to use my knowledge on the street. So I wouldn't know if I'm good enough, and I'm glad I don't, because I probably wouldn't be good enough. So
Mm.
Is
yeah.
that I've had like 2 or 3 lessons of jujitsu, so I'm basically an expert. I can take on 100 guys. I was just thinking in that terms, like Steven Seagal in what was it, Under Siege, where he's a cook on one of these battleships,
Oh,
like the New Jersey. Isn't he ex Special Forces?
Yeah.
Ex Special Forces. Oh my
Well,
god.
that is a trope as well. The unassuming person who has this.
yeah.
Oh
secret.
yeah.
It was a History of Violence where what's the actor's name who played?
Viggo
He was in
Mortensen.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah, Viggo Mortensen. In A History of Violence. He was also a cook, I think, worked in a diner or something.
Mm.
He had this secret
Mhm.
past with some kind of special forces guy or whatever.
Or an assassin or something.
Mm.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Oh my god, John Wick.
The problem with these guys is that they're supposed to play the trope of the quiet and assuming person that is basically a powerhouse, and they do not sell it well that they are quiet or unassuming at all.
Tend to be, yeah.
Especially Seagal, like he's like the least unassuming and the least quiet person ever.
Oh man, for sure.
He's
Yeah.
oh my god, that guy. He's someone who takes fantasy too far. Way too far. But yeah, so the unassuming, they have to have a whole lot of different traits. What was that one with that guy from Better Call Saul? I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Nobody. I know the
Nobody,
movie's
yeah.
called Nobody. Apparently, that's what. Yeah, that's
Odenkirk.
what that movie's about.
Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah.
So that's a good movie. It's super, super violent. And it's a good movie, but again, he's ex-special forces. Well, it's not special forces as in the normal special forces. He's like a cleanup guy for the CIA or something. So he's like, you're talking about Baines with the the Clint Eastwood film. He's special forces of the special forces. He's the one that the special forces call to be the specialist of the special.
What was the background of Liam Neeson in Taken? I've never seen any of those films, but he's something like that, right?
Isn't he a hostage negotiator thing or something? I don't know.
Oh, is that all?
No, he's something like he is specialist at getting people from bad guys. And his daughter gets taken, and he has to apply his special set of skills.
He's very well suited to that crisis that it went to.
It just happens to fall.
Why would you kidnap his daughter? Right in the area.
Super specialist. That's like what Tans was talking about. The idea, like everybody's got their specialist thing, and they're the best of the best at what they do.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
The best of the best, sir.
So it's like, say if it was a story about me and like, oh my god, I'm on a train somewhere and the train suddenly gets stopped or like goes off the rails. And, oh my god, guys, what are we going to do? We need a graphic designer right away to help us do the thing. I just happen to be a super graphic designer. I'll help you. I'll create flyers and posters and they're going to help us get out of this situation. Using the best fonts. Oh my god, there's not a good enough font for this. I'll use my expertise to create a whole new one. Just crazy enough to work. The kernings's not quite right on that. Oh dear.
He's the best. He was the best there is, and we need him.
I don't know. I can't come out of retirement. You know that. It's been too long.
It's like the retired cat burglar. It's the same trope. It's a criminal, super capable criminal. Now they've gone straight, but they're forced to do it again. It's good. It works, man.
You're reeling me back in. Jeez. Oh
I'm
my
telling
god.
you, I want back in. What movie was that? He was a CIA guy. Oh yeah, Clear and Present Danger. And,
oh really? What, with Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
Oh.
But he's not like he's not a martial artist or anything. He's like a CIA analyst. He's clever, and I think he's not even as genius as he is in the books.
Yeah.
Which is good.
He was in Patriot Games as well?
No.
Same character?
Yeah. Same character, yeah. And then Clear and Present Danger is the one where I want back in. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I want back in.
And Patriot Games is a film where Sean Bean dies.
Now that you
That's
mentioned
the one.
Harrison Ford, he also is an outlier, like one of his characters, where he outsmarts the FBI guys, even though he's not ex anything. and that is The Fugitive. He's just a clever guy.
Yeah.
He's a doctor.
Yeah.
He's like a super good doctor, but he's not ex-special forces or anything else. And he still outsmarts the FBI.
Tommy Lee Jones. I can't even do Tommy Lee Jones' accent. Tommy Lee Jones. He's got a weird. He doesn't have a normal American accent. He has this weird kind of southern thing. Tommy Lee Jones.
Hard target search. Every hen house, outhouse, dog house.
Exactly.
Everyone was doing that for a long time.
And Tommy Lee Jones was actually the bad guy in Under Siege, and he was ex-Special Forces.
Oh, really?
Oh, the other one. How about The Rock? The Rock with you have the bad guys being the ex-army.
Everyone's ex-Special Forces in that, except for Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, he just is ex-prom king.
There's the bearded
He's
guy.
a specialist in bomb.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, he's the specialist with the specials.
I think he's in chemicals or something like that.
Yeah, that's the James Bond actor. Sean Connery is in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Her
Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah.
Wrongfully imprisoned for 30 years.
Yeah. I liked the when he was
Yes.
going into Alcatraz and Sean Connery was saying like, and this is where we had this, and this is where we had that, and Nicolas Cage says, "No, this is all very interesting, but I just gotta find some rockets." They
That
had,
movie is awesome, by the way.
I want to see it again now.
Yeah.
I saw a clip from it the other day and I thought, oh, this is so silly. It's so dumb.
Yeah,
The
but
writing of the characters. I loved it when
see,
I saw it. Loved it. But
it is
seeing
good.
that clip again.
It's just the right amount of cheese and popcorn for me. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's to watch with friends and pizza.
Yeah, it is a pizza
Absolutely.
film. But
Yeah.
that is a film where everybody is ex-special forces again. And it's...
Or actual current special forces, because the guys that
think
killed
the
off in the
soldiers
south.
are retired, aren't they?
No, the bad guy soldiers are retired.
Yeah.
The ones that didn't get pensions and stuff like that. And I think some of them are mercenaries, if I remember right.
Yeah. And the leader, Ed Harris's character, I think he's
Mm.
retired. And he's
Yeah.
probably a special forces colonel or something.
He is definitely special forces.
Yeah.
Special forces. Yeah, I was special forces. I was expert toilet cleaner in the regiment. That was my job. Cooking toilet cleaner. Oh, you needed someone with combat experience. I'm sorry, I never did that.
But they don't pit him against an army. He's just a renegade. He's got this army of mercenaries. And this trope that we're talking about is the Sean Connery character, who's like very capable and he knows Alcatraz. And he's, a lot of people say that is an unofficial James Bond movie. That's like James Bond's last adventure. That the Connery Bond, was falsely imprisoned and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Just like the A-Team.
Exactly.
I would buy that. And also it has one of the best car chases.
So fun, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even wild about action movies, but I love that one.
Yeah.
The actors are so great. The characters are so cool. It's a lot of fun.
An early what's the name film? Not James Cameron, the other guy who's known for doing
Michael Bay directed it.
There you go, Bay.
Yeah.
Bay. Speaking of ex-special forces and James Bond was ex-special forces. Before he became a 00, whatever agent, he was in the SAS or something like this. So there you go. He was an ex-special forces. So that's how he knew what to do. Because I think one of the modern tropes of spies and spy movies is they're just spies. They get trained to be spies and they already have these special powers. Whereas that's ridiculous. Yeah. There's no special school for field agents. I mean, there might be now, I don't know. But traditionally there wasn't. They had to get recruited from some other place. Even I've read the CIA recruiting thing years ago, and that was asking for veterans who'd had the experience in various forces of the military. So that's a thing. So they go from there, and then they become a spy. So it really helps them. You don't just get magical field agent powers and can be just automatically really good. And often I think these days when someone goes into those spy agencies, they don't necessarily do any field operations. You'd be doing analyst work and all this kind of stuff. But given your past in the military, it means you're trusted with a level of national interest, all this kind of thing. So that's why they like to source people from those things, not because they can shoot 1 million people and drive motorbikes and rappel from helicopters. It's the fact that they just they've got their nation's interest at heart.
Right.
Yeah, it's rather more boring. But yeah, James Bond was Special Forces. There you go. Ex-Special Forces.
Mm-hmm.
What other characters can we name that are, well, Tan's brought up Reacher. I don't think Reacher really is that, but he's sort of special, like, Tan, you just sort of mentioned that he was, even better than the Marines at sniper shooting and all this kind of stuff, and hand-to-hand fighting.
I looked it up now because I didn't remember it, but he's not ex-Special Forces, he's ex-MP, like a military police, but he's an expert in all kinds of martial arts, because of course he is. And he also he's the only person that won like a Marine sharpshooting contest. So he bested the Marines without being a Marine, So he's basically honorary ex-Special Forces.
Well, that's what thing. So the Marines are not a special force, but they sort of are, but not really. But they were really regarded as that back in the day, especially in the 1940s. And when we say Marines, we don't mean all Marines, we mean the US Marines. So they were sort of regarded in that way and that was because they did soldiering, but they're not the army. They're a smaller group than the army, and they're super specialized, basically disembarking from ships and being basically first line of attack.
Yeah.
So
you see that like a character will have the background of being a Marine, and it's a good shorthand for a top capable person.
Exactly. And like Royal Marines is the British version, and then you've got like Marines all over the world. There's South African ones, there's Marines everywhere. I don't think we actually have Marines in Australia. That's interesting.
No.
But it's one of those things. Paratroopers again was a group that was really known as being a kind of special group. But that's gone by the wayside now.
How about pilots? You see presidents who are pilots. How about that? Harrison Ford.
Well, that's the thing.
Harrison Ford in Air Force One, and Bill Pullman in Independence Day.
Independence Day.
Presidents.
Air Force One, I think.
Air Force One, yeah.
Yeah, Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
But
which helps him land the plane. Or no, does he land it? No, he tries to land it.
He tries. He gets instruction, and then they have to rappel into another.
That's right.
Plane.
Yeah.
So the American Air Force doesn't have a special force, I think. But then again, you could regard pilots as being a special force because they're like the minority of the Air Force. So the Air Force is made up of all the different support personnel and all the different like officers, administrative people, and all this kind of stuff. And the pilots are like the 5% or something like that who are able to be qualified to actually fly planes. So could be a special. They're specialists.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does. That's true.
Don't forget, the president has a military background. Did they use the phrase "Special Forces" in Air Force One? I'll have to watch it again.
So long since I've seen it. It was one of those very silly American films. But,
yeah, it's silly fun. It's up there with the. It's not as good as The Rock, but it's in that kind of territory.
Yeah.
Well done. But yeah, it's a silly thing.
Yeah, wasn't Wesley Snipes in it, and he gets killed in the first 5 seconds? Oh no, that was Steven Seagal. He gets killed very quickly in it.
Oh yeah, that's in Executive Decision, which I haven't seen in a long time, but I remember being shocked at how good that was. That was on a plane. And he was a military guy, and it was shocking that he died. It was like a good Steven Seagal performance and movie. It's a Kurt Russell movie, right?
Yes, you are right. There's like climbing between different parts of the aeroplane, something like that.
Yeah.
Don't.
I only remember it vaguely. Got to see that one again.
Been so many years since I watched these things.
Yeah, me too.
Used to be so into it when I was a little kid.
I like the like Tess was mentioning the regular person in the tough situation. Like they might be smart and capable, but you don't necessarily know how capable until they're in the situation, like the fugitive, and then the first Die Hard, which is more cartoonish, obviously.
Yeah, he's just a police officer, isn't he, in Die Hard?
Yeah, he's a cop. He's tough and he's like sort of scrappy and ill tempered, but he's able to win the day.
Yeah, I don't think he has a history of special forces.
No, don't think so.
I hope not.
I think the sequels get a little crazy, or a lot crazier eventually. He's sort of doing more superheroic things.
Yeah, I've only seen the second one, and after that I thought, ugh.
Oh, dude. Well, you got to see part 3. You're in for a treat. It's the best one.
Isn't that the guy from Pulp Fiction's in it as a taxi driver or something?
He's not a taxi driver, but he is in the movie. Samuel L. Jackson has a major part in the movie, and it's so good. It's like amazingly good. One of your better part 3s.
All right.
Highly recommend. And I think the villains might have a special forces background. You might have one of those scenes with the FBI talking to John McClane about this man was a former special forces. Now he's a bad guy. It's all over. You've got it all over.
Wasn't it like, I think John Amos was the baddie in the second one, and he was ex-special forces?
Yeah, there was a whole military crew in that movie. Yeah. Yeah, Chance is back.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Ex-special forces. Chance was taken by the special forces. And she's been returned now.
Talking about
even more special forces.
She's been returned after they realized they had the wrong person.
It was very quick. Oh, sorry, man.
Yeah. Let me put you back exactly where you were sitting down.
What are more examples of ex-special forces? I don't know. There's just too many. It is a massive trope that is so freaking common. And
well, it looks like we got to register you as a lethal weapon.
Well, actually, I was even watching. I'm watching Miami Vice again, and there's so many characters in there that are ex-special forces. Because everyone's a veteran from Vietnam, from the Vietnam War in that show, because it was shot during, it was made during the 80s.
Yeah, the 80s was a real former Vietnam soldier era for characters.
But Miami Vice is made really well. You're watching it and you're thinking, yeah, I just want to like watch this junky 80s kind of fun action thing, and it's super serious and super well done, so it's a bit weird to watch something like that from the 80s because so much stuff was pretty trashy. But yeah, my advice is not trashy. So, but yeah, there are a lot of ex-special forces characters in that.
Right.
Oh dear. But yeah, I won't put that in the bad category because the special forces people are not super soldiers in that. They tend to be damaged, and like their army experience tends to be something negative for them. So it's handled well, weirdly, for something that does that. Like there's people who are expert code breakers because of what they did in the military or whatever, and their military experience has damaged them, so they're only good for doing that and nothing else. And other people who are like experts at listing devices and stuff like that, but it's damaged them and they can't socially interact with people in a normal way, and it's very well done. I think Miami Vice is probably a poster child for doing it in the correct way,
Yeah.
unlike a lot of other things.
I don't really remember it. I mean, I used to watch it when when it was on TV, but I don't remember it much. So I
It's
just remember
worth.
the
Okay.
flower. No, I just remember the flower sets in the beginning. Unless that is Hawaii 2.0.
Magnum PI.
Could be. One of those. They merge in my head.
I want to see that. Yeah, that's funny. So and even Magnum PI had people who used to serve in the military. Well,
I think he
basically
did.
Vietnam War.
I was
Yeah,
just gonna
and
say he and his buddies were former, at least Army vets or Vietnam vets or something. That guy.
and it doesn't enhance their skills. That's like when they think about their war service, that's a bad thing for them. And they
Right.
end up in a job that makes use of their skills, but that doesn't help them in any way. It doesn't make them super duper whatever.
That's
So
right.
it's sort of, just getting along with life in spite of that. So sometimes things do handle it well.
Yeah. Did MacGyver have a background? He probably
I think
did.
he did.
He
Now
did, yeah.
Yeah, he did. Before he joined the DXS, if I remember right, that was before the Phoenix Foundation. I think he had. I'll check it out right now because. Uh,
Pretty sure in the first episode he's still in
Yeah.
some kind of military service. And then
Yeah,
he
yeah.
joins.
He
That
joins
group.
this extra special whatever
Yeah.
whoever he's with during the series.
And I think like because in the first 3 or 4 episodes, the character is still not very well shaped. Exactly what he is. Like he uses a gun in one of the first episodes, and so the brand of the character wasn't fully formed. Um, so let me find it. I'm at his wiki.
Well, he starts out, sort of military guy, and then he becomes more inventive about solving situations and less martial. But his military experience doesn't make him a super gung ho soldier. It's like his clever ways of solving things that do it.
Mhm.
And I think his military experience made him more wary about being gung ho and killing.
Yeah, he never used a gun, and he's very much a pacifist in that sense,
Right. Yeah.
and that was what I loved about the character, and I also loved the fact that when he punched people or got punched, he actually felt some pain. Like it wasn't let's smash a windshield and then go about our day. So I really like that. So I don't see anywhere that he was an ex-army guy, um, but I am skimming, so maybe I missed it. I do remember that initially he was supposed to be, but maybe it was retconned later because the idea that he never uses guns comes from his childhood trauma and not from the army. So
Oh.
he quietly omitted that original,
Yeah,
pilot.
he probably wasn't. At
Yeah.
least sort of.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
no.
in the first few episodes he actually does hold guns.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Okay. No, I found it. So he was in the army. He left MIT to join the army because he wanted to make a difference. All right, and he trained as an EOD technician in Afghanistan. And then he met Jack Dalton, who was in Delta Force. And then after that,
Delta Force.
yeah, and then he left the army and he was in the DXS. So yeah, good. I remembered. Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
uh, yeah.
So we're almost almost finishing up. So you guys, you got to tell me your fictional special forces backgrounds. Baines, you begin. Tell us your fictional Special
I told you
forces
before, I'm just a regular person now.
You put all that behind you.
It's all behind me now. Yeah.
We need your brains. We need your special skills.
I got to admit, like I said before, like we need you to come back. I love that. That works on me. It's very cool. In fiction.
One last time. That's all we need you for, man. Just one last time.
I got my green belt in Taekwondo when I was a teenager. That's my background. So I was a ninja, pretty much. It was close.
You served with the ninjas. That's
served
pretty
with the
badass.
Exactly.
It's
That's
like
why-
Batman. It came up through ninjas, stuff like that.
That's why Baines is invisible and we never see his face. It's because he's a ninja.
Exactly.
It's his ninja
I
training.
don't like those ninja masks. They itch my face. So I just have to be invisible.
Oh,
How about you guys?
Yeah, Tance, what's your special forces background?
yeah, I don't talk about it either. I don't know. I guess I would like probably be something super boring, like a profiler or yeah, a profiler or a sniper. One of those two things.
An ex-profiler from the CIA and a sniper.
It's not the CIA. It's what's the one that is not CIA but is like an army branch of the CIA. I don't
I've
remember.
no idea.
Me neither. That's the one. I don't even know my unit.
Yes, well, I'm ex-special forces, SAS, and then ASIO as a spy. And then I became a super secret quackcaster using my specialist skill.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness me! It's a bunch of silliness, but yeah, the cliche of the ex-special forces, it needs to be put to rest for a while until it can become special again.
Yeah, yeah.
No longer special.
Mm-hmm.
And well, thank you very much for listening to this Quackcast number 742. Ozone Ocean. With me is Special Agent Tance, and Special Agent Baines.
Bye-bye.
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 Roger, that's a special forces tattoo.